Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Tell Me More Stories Told as podcast.
Oh.
Buckle up, because we're about to deep dive into the one and only Will Smith.
Oh, yeah. From the Fresh Prince to blockbuster royalty, this guy's story is anything but predictable.
We're going to break it all down, starting with his early days in West Philly. Not exactly the Hollywood Hills, is it?
Nope. Born and raised there, his journey began far from the glitz and glam.
His parents, a school board administrator and an Air Force vet, they instilled a strong work ethic in him, gave him a solid foundation, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But there's this really cool story about his grandmother. She played a huge role in shaping his path.
Picture this young Will filling notebooks with rap lyrics, not all of them exactly G-rated.
And his grandmother finds one of these notebooks. Now, instead of freaking out, she leaves him a note.
And get this, she actually encourages him to use his intelligence and express himself, but to do it without relying on profanity.
Powerful stuff, right? That simple act had a profound impact on him.
He credits his grandmother for his choice to keep his music clean, even when gangster rap was exploding.
Talk about character, right? He was willing to listen and learn even as a young kid.
And that commitment to clean lyrics became a signature of his early career, as one half of DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Yeah, their music was fun, relatable. It appealed to everyone. A real breath of fresh air compared to the harder-edged rap that was coming up at the time.
And parents just don't understand. Wasn't just a catchy tune. It made history.
You're telling me it was the first ever rap song to win a Grammy? Think about that. They broke down barriers and changed the game.
It's wild to think now that despite the Grammys and the success, Will actually struggled financially early on.
It's a good reminder that talent doesn't always equal instant riches. He's been open about those tough times and the lessons they taught him about money management.
It's almost like those struggles laid the groundwork for his later success as a businessman and entrepreneur,
Interesting point. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's rewind to the moment that launched him into superstardom.
We're talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, of course.
The show that gave us iconic catchphrases, side-splitting humor, and a whole new definition of cool.
But the Fresh Prince went deeper than just laughs. It tackled social issues, explored race and class, and broke barriers for Black representation on TV.
It did, and it launched Will into a whole new stratosphere. From there, he went on to star in one blockbuster after another.
Bad Boys, Independence Day, Men in Black.
The list goes on. He basically became Mr. Summer Blockbuster, the go-to guy for action-packed entertainment.
And don't forget, Men in Black wasn't just a box office smash. His theme song for the movie topped the charts, proving he could still dominate the music scene.
He moved seamlessly between those two worlds, music and film, and killed it in both.
His musical talent almost runs parallel to his acting career. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you think his return to music now is pure passion? Or maybe a way to reconnect with a part of himself he put aside during those peak acting years?
That's a really good question. It's like music has always been there, and maybe now he's ready to dive back in head first.
But before we get into that, let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when we talk about Will Smith. His willingness to take risks, even if it meant saying no to a little film called The Matrix.
It's true. He's talked about maybe regretting that decision a bit, recognizing how brilliant Keanu Reeves was as Neo.
But at the same time, he's also emphasized the importance of trusting your gut and making choices that align with your vision.
You have to admire that.
And not every risk paid off, right? Let's not forget Wild Wild West.
Well, or After Earth, for that matter, which, despite the family connection with Jaden, didn't quite hit the same mark.
But even with those stumbles, he always bounced back. He's got this incredible resilience and a willingness to learn from every experience, good or bad.
That's a valuable trait, for sure. He never let those setbacks define him. He used them to push himself forward.
That resilience is one of the things that really stands out about his career. He never backed down from challenges, and he kept seeking out roles that demanded more depth and vulnerability.
You could see him pushing himself to grow as an actor.
Absolutely. Like his powerful performance as Muhammad Ali in Ali, which earned him his first Oscar nomination.
That performance was a real turning point for him. It showed a whole new side of his talent, his range and depth. He wasn't just the charismatic, funny guy anymore. He was a serious, dramatic actor.
And speaking of nuance, let's talk about The Pursuit of Happyness, where he starred alongside Jaden, playing a struggling single dad determined to give his kid a better life.
What makes that film so powerful is the real-life connection they both had to the story. It added this extra layer of emotion and really resonated with people.
It's a testament to family and perseverance,
Absolutely.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that definitely casts a shadow over his career.
You're talking about the Oscars incident, of course, a moment that caused a lot of controversy and debate.
Yeah, it did. And while we're not here to take sides or judge, it's important to acknowledge how complex the situation was. Chris Rock made an off-the-cuff joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head, which, as many people know, was a sensitive topic because of her struggles with alopecia.
And that's a condition that can have a huge impact on someone emotionally and psychologically. It's understandable why Jada might have been hurt or offended by the joke.
And Will's reaction, while impulsive and ultimately not okay, came from a place of wanting to protect his wife.
No easy answers there for sure. The consequences for Will were immediate and serious. Resigning from the Academy, a 10-year ban from the Oscars, and projects being put on hold.
It was a moment that forced him to face some deeper issues, to reflect on his actions and what they meant.
You can say that again. And in the aftermath, he apologized, took time away from the spotlight, and seemed to do some serious soul-searching.
So now let's shift gears again and talk about a different side of Will. The side that's not just an actor, but a businessman, an entrepreneur, and a philanthropist.
Yeah, he's not just talented. He's got a knack for building successful businesses. His production company, Westbrook Inc., has had some major hits. And he's made smart investments in all sorts of industries, like esports.
It's like he's always searching for new challenges to learn and grow. And his memoir, Will, gives us a really fascinating look into his personal journey.
That book is incredibly honest and open. He goes deep into his struggles, his childhood, his complicated relationship with his father, even his exploration of spirituality and alternative healing.
He talks about his experiences with ayahuasca, his exploration of Hinduism, his connection with Sadhguru. He's clearly on this constant quest for self-discovery, and he's not afraid to share those experiences, even the vulnerable ones.
It's refreshing to see someone so successful be so open and honest about their struggles. It makes him relatable and reminds us that even the biggest stars have their own battles to fight.
And speaking of fighting battles, we can't forget about his philanthropic work. Will has been a vocal advocate for causes he believes in, from supporting same-sex marriage to championing voter rights.
He uses his platform to raise awareness, inspire action, and make a real difference.
It's inspiring to see someone with his influence use it for good. He doesn't shy away from taking a stand even when it's controversial. And he uses his voice to amplify the voices of those who are often marginalized.
Absolutely. And guess what? Will Smith is making a big comeback to music.
I heard about that.
The word is that this new album is his most personal one yet, drawing on all the ups and downs he's experienced. It'll be interesting to see how he translates his personal growth and reflections into his music.
And to give us a taste, he's already released You Can Make It, featuring Friday and the Sunday Service Choir. It's a powerful blend of gospel and his signature style.
It's amazing. You can feel the emotion and sincerity in his voice. And let's not forget about his other recent release, Work of Art, featuring his son, Jaden and Russ.
Like father, like son, right? The Smiths are a talented bunch. And to top it all off, he just signed a new distribution deal with Slang.
Sounds like he's back in a big way, reclaiming his spot in the music world. His music has always been a reflection of his life, so I'm curious to see how this new chapter unfolds.
It's going to be fascinating to see what he does next, both musically and in his life. Will Smith's story is a testament to evolution, resilience, and the constant pursuit of growth.
He reminds us that life is a journey with its twists and turns, and it's how we handle those challenges, how we learn from our mistakes and use those experiences to shape our future that really matters.
He's not just entertaining us. He's using his platform to spark conversations and raise awareness about important issues.
It's a reminder that we all have a voice, and we can all make a difference, no matter our background or what we've been through.
When you zoom out and look at the big picture, Will Smith's life and career reflect the changing cultural landscape. He came up during a pivotal time in hip-hop, crossed over to mainstream Hollywood success, and continues to push boundaries in both music and film.
Right. And let's not forget his impact on the conversation about Black representation in entertainment.
He's paved the way for other artists and actors, showing what's possible with hard work, talent, and a willingness to defy expectations. His story really is a testament to the power of following your passions, taking risks, and never giving up on your dreams.
Even when those dreams lead you down unexpected paths, sometimes the most rewarding journeys are the ones we least expect.
So what can we take away from all of this? What have we learned from this deep dive into the life of Will Smith?
Now that's a great question. It challenges us to think about how we can apply his resilience, his commitment to growth, and his passion for making a difference to our own lives.
Will Smith's career is a perfect example of how success isn't a straight line. There will be obstacles and setbacks, but it's how we deal with those challenges that defines us.
It's about learning from mistakes, using setbacks as opportunities for growth, and never losing sight of our values.
Throughout his career, Will has entertained us, inspired us, and started important conversations. He's shown us that it's okay to be vulnerable, to admit our flaws, and to always strive for self-improvement.
And that's a powerful message for all of us.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the extraordinary life of Will Smith. We've explored his journey from those early days in West Philly to global stardom, his triumphs, his controversies, and the lessons we can learn from it all.
It's been a fascinating exploration of a complex and multi-talented person who continues to captivate and inspire us.
But before we wrap up, here's a final thought to chew on. Imagine Will Smith's career as a map. It's full of twists and turns, unexpected detours, and maybe even a few dead ends. But what if those less than perfect moments were the most valuable parts? What if they helped make him who he is today?
It makes you appreciate the importance of embracing our imperfections and learning from our missteps.
Exactly. Those imperfections, those missteps are all part of our story. And who knows, maybe they'll lead us to our greatest discoveries. Thank you so much for joining us on Tell Me More Stories Told This podcast. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the life of someone extraordinary. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep telling your own stories.
It's a reminder that we all have a voice and we can all make a difference, no matter where we come from or what challenges we face.
It's true. When we step back and look at the bigger picture, Will Smith's life and career really reflect how much the cultural landscape has changed. He came up during a pivotal time in hip-hop, made it big in Hollywood, and he's still pushing boundaries in both music and film.
And his impact on the conversation about Black representation in entertainment can't be ignored.
He's paved the way for so many other artists and actors, showing the world what's possible with hard work, talent, and a willingness to break the mold. His story is truly inspiring. It's a testament to following your passions, taking risks, and never giving up on your dreams.
Even when those dreams take you down unexpected roads, right? Sometimes the most rewarding journeys are the ones we least expect.
So what are the key takeaways here? What can we learn from diving deep into the life of Will Smith?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It challenges us to think about how we can apply his resilience, his dedication to growth, and his passion for making a difference in our own lives.
Will Smith's career is a prime example of how success isn't a straight shot. There will be roadblocks and setbacks. But it's how we handle those challenges that truly shapes us.
It's about learning from our mistakes, turning setbacks into opportunities for growth, and most importantly, never losing sight of our values.
Throughout his career, Will Smith has entertained us, inspired us, and sparked important conversations. He's shown us that it's okay to be vulnerable, to own our flaws, and to always strive to be better.
A message we could all use, I think.
Well, this brings us to the end of our deep dive into the extraordinary life of Will Smith. From his beginnings in West Philly to global superstardom, we've explored all his triumphs, his controversies, and the valuable lessons we can learn from his journey.
It's been an incredible look into a complex and talented individual who continues to fascinate and motivate us.
Before we say goodbye, though, here's one last thing to consider. What if we picture Will Smith's career as a map, full of twists and turns, unexpected detours, and maybe even a few dead ends? But what if those bumps in the road, those less than perfect moments, were actually the most important parts? What if they helped shape him into the person he is today?
Makes you think about the importance of embracing our imperfections and learning from our missteps, doesn't it?
Exactly. Those imperfections, those missteps, they're all part of our story. And you never know, they might just lead us to our greatest discoveries. Thank you so much for joining us on Tell Me More Stories Told This podcast. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the life of someone extraordinary. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep telling your own stories. He's not just entertaining us. He's using his platform to start conversations and raise awareness about important issues,
Right. It reminds us that we all have a voice and a chance to make a difference, regardless of where we come from or what we've gone through.
If you take a step back and look at the big picture, Will Smith's life and career really mirror how much our culture has changed. He came up during a key moment for hip-hop, became a huge star in Hollywood, and he's still pushing the limits in both music and film.
And his impact on the conversation about Black representation in entertainment, it's undeniable.
Absolutely. He's paved the way for so many artists and actors, proving what's possible with hard work, talent, and a willingness to challenge expectations. His story is really inspiring. It shows the power of following your heart, taking risks, and never giving up on your dreams.
Even when those dreams take you in directions you didn't expect, sometimes the best journeys are the ones that surprise us.
So what are the main takeaways here? What can we learn from taking this deep dive into the life of Will Smith?
That's a great question. It makes us think about how we can apply his resilience, his drive to grow, and his passion for making a difference to our own lives.
Will Smith's career is a perfect example of how success isn't always a straight line. You're going to hit roadblocks and setbacks. But how we handle those challenges, that's what defines us.
It's all about learning from our mistakes, using those setbacks to grow, and never losing sight of what we believe in.
Throughout his career, Will Smith has entertained us, inspired us, and brought up some really important conversations. He's shown us that it's okay to be vulnerable, to admit our flaws, and to always strive to be better versions of ourselves.
A message we could all use, I think.
So this brings us to the end of our deep dive into the life of the one and only Will Smith. From his early days in West Philly to his global superstardom, we've covered it all. His triumphs, his controversies, and the lessons we can all take away from his journey.
It's been a fascinating look at a complex and incredibly talented individual, someone who continues to captivate and inspire.
Before we sign off, though, I want to leave you with this thought. Imagine Will Smith's career as a map. It's full of twists and turns, detours, and maybe even a few dead ends. But what if those imperfections, those unexpected turns, were actually the most valuable parts? What if they helped shape him into the man he is today?
It makes you realize how important it is to embrace our imperfections and learn from our mistakes.
Exactly. Those imperfections, those missteps, they're all part of our story, and they might just lead us to our greatest discoveries. Thanks for tuning in to Tell Me More Stories Told This podcast. We'll catch you next time with another deep dive into the life of someone extraordinary. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep sharing your own stories.